I'm going to start the YouTube highlight from right here, and this will be uploaded on the YouTube channel. Welcome to Wednesday's tank Q&A. The way this works is, we take questions from chat, and if you want to have your armory audited, if you play a tank, it doesn't matter what class, DK, Pally, Druid, Warrior, just put it on my Twitter, and then I'll be going to my Twitter to pull some armories off and then add them to the spreadsheet. All right, and then we'll just go over those. Just give some tips, and then any questions that you guys have, we'll also go over those. Okay, so yeah, go ahead, and if you haven't done so, just follow me on Twitter and then post your armory on there, and we'll go ahead and get this going. Pulling off a couple of links from here, adding them to the spreadsheet. Okay, let me just plug in my mouse. Like switches between wired and wireless. Okay, so we got a few here. Let's just go ahead and open one, and we'll start with these two. Okay. Then we'll just be going through, gems, enchants, reforging, things like that. And any question you guys have that doesn't involve armory audits, it's just a portion of what we're doing. If you guys have questions about tanking, like, hey, what do you do for this fight? What cooldowns do you use? Blah, blah, blah. Any of that, just go ahead and ask it, and then I'll bounce between the two of those. Okay. So let's see. Our main tank got kicked from the guild. Had our Shadow Priest switch to Blood DK? Any tips? It depends how new he is to playing the Blood DK. There's a link at the bottom of the stream. If you scroll down, it has a link to my Blood DK guide. You can just link him that and, just tell him to read it. And if he still has questions after he's done, we'll go over it from there. But, yeah, it covers quite a bit of what's going on. All right, let's see. I am also going to go to here. I did a Dragon Soul Heroic clear, 7 out of 8 bosses. I didn't use it on Madness just because obviously that was wasn't that big of a deal. Hey, let's see, what is this? Oh, alright, so it's a pretty good one. Anyways, here's the link. I'll go ahead and toss this into chat for you guys. I did a 7 out of 8 clear on my second Death Knight as dual Soul Drinkers. I mean, looking at it, it's not insignificant. I mean, it's a pretty decent amount of healing, but you got to think about how much mastery you're losing, because you're looking at like Specimen Slicer. I want to make sure I give you guys the right. Here we go. It is, let's see, you got 347 mastery, so 397 mastery with your gem. So right at, you're losing 400 mastery rating, which is a pretty substantial amount. You know what I mean? But you gain, I mean, this is just boss encounters only. All right, and I mean, it heals for, a lot more than your rune tap does. The thing is, it's not really on demand. Very situational, and one of the things I noticed last night when I was using them is just, while you're still able to hold threat with them, it's not like you're losing threat. It's still, you have to pay a lot more attention to your threat when you're using those than you would without, you know what I mean? Like, if you're wearing a two-hander, when you pull like 15 seconds into the fight, it's like GG, you don't have to worry about threat at that point. But with those two-handers on, threat's like a consistent variable that you have to be watching, you know what I mean? So you guys can bounce through that. We'll check that out a little bit more. Let me just get through a couple more of these questions. And this guy's asking, why am I doing that? I mean, I have 2 DKs, man. I have this DK, and I have this DK. Alright, this is the DK that I use dual wield Heroic Soul Drinkers on. This is the DK that I use the two-hander on. Alright, so they're both, I mean, this one's 408 and this one's 406, you know what I mean? Like, they're both pretty much equal, gem, reforged, all that shit the same. There's no real difference. The only difference is this one's professions compared to that one. So I just do it because I like comparing stuff, you know what I mean? There's a lot of times where it's like, even if something is really, it's like, you know, you look at a sim, and a sim's going to show you taking less overall damage through an entire fight if you're fully focused on avoidance, you know? But in reality, if you're in there doing the fights and on progression and shit, the sim doesn't really explain to you how, you know, if you get an unlucky string of not avoiding attacks, you just get your face melted, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's certain things that a sim isn't really going to be able to tell you, and that's why it's like, it's just good to get in there and do it, you know what I mean? So that's the reason I do dual wield on the second DK, and I use a two-hander on this DK, and you can just make comparisons, you know what I mean? Let's see. So one guy says, my guild is having me solo tank normal madness of Deathwing. I was wondering how to prioritize my cooldowns on the impales for the corruption in the very last phase. Birdie, let me know what class you're talking about. I need to know if you're talking about a DK, Druid, Warrior, or what. Alright. Okay. But yeah, this guy's asking about like a two-hander. This is your best in slot two-handed DK weapon right there. You need to be going with that. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and start while we're waiting on him to get back to me or whatever. Oh, I have yours? Okay, so you're a Paladin? Yeah, we'll get to that. We're going to start with this guy, alright? We're just going to add him over here to this. This guy was a Death Knight. Right, so we're going to go ahead and fill that in. DK. Let's check out his gems. Ember Topaz, Fine Ember Jewel, Mastery Stam, Full Mastery. Okay, so he's got one full Stam gem. It's not really consistent with the other stuff. Let's figure, what do you have that in? This and a blue socket. Yeah, so you want to stay consistent with your gemming. Use... actually, he's a jewel crafter. Maybe he... Yeah, I don't know. Let me see here. Use either use full mastery for yellow sockets, mastery stam for green or blue, and mastery parry for red. You have a full stam Chim's Eye in your pants. Swap that out. One thing to note also about the thing that I've got going on here with this dual wield setup, right? This dual wield setup is with me in a full mastery build, okay? The way that the Drain Life works is it's stealing 1.7% of your total HP, alright? So if you're in a full stam build, those numbers are going to inflate substantially. You know what I mean? They're going to go up a lot, I would say, because you're probably going to, 1.7% of my HP is going to be a lot less. You know what I mean? Let's just get a ballpark figure here. You've got, get a calculator out. I'm far from a mathlete when it comes to doing math. Let's see, you got 13 of these. Let's just say, this is going to be a ballpark figure. We're going to have 13 times 75, okay? So if every one of those was 75 stam gems, obviously they can't be, but I'm just saying if they were, that's 975. Actually, let's just say it for simplicity reasons. 13, 40, 50, 16. We could make an argument for these two. Yeah, sure, whatever. 22. Let's just say you're doing... So you have 22 gems times 75. So say I get rid of all that. You're looking at actually no, because these are already stamped. I don't know. Either way, you're looking let's just subtract those. I want to give you guys an accurate number. Let's just do 13, 16. 16. All right. So 16 gems, the non-stam valued ones. All right. 16 times 75. You got 1,200 extra stamina. You know, so I mean that will be a lot. You know what I mean? That's probably with raid buffs and everything. I mean, you're looking at quite a bit of HP. I don't know how much it would actually increase the healing by, but it would be pretty substantial. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're looking at this healing value. I mean, this is again over the boss fights for, you know, Morchot, Yorsaj, Janaz, Hagara, Eltraxian, Warmaster, and Spine. So, yeah. It would go up. I don't know how close it would get. Obviously, it's not going to compete with the other things, but very situational. I can see certain situations where it would be good. Anyways, with that said, I'm going to get back to this guy here. Let's go over his enchants. He does use or enchant helm and use glove tinker on gloves stacks with glove enchant. Okay, so that's one good thing about engineering. It stacks with your enchant. Okay, so you have mastery. You have mastery enchant here. 65 mastery to gloves. Let's see what else it was. I got Dracod leg armor. Lava walker, that's good. Stone Skin Gargoyle, that's good. 75 stam to chest, and Therazine Exalted. So that's what we're going to tell this guy here. Got 75 stam to chest, Therazine Exalted. Okay. Reforging. See, dodge mastery. I mean, just do a quick once over because Zonker caught me last week cheating. Parrying to mastery, that's good. Expertise in a dodge, that's good. And some people would be like, well, there, never mind. That's wrong. Pair of shoulders. I was going to make a point, but I can't make it with that. Alright, this guy's got parry into mastery. Okay, this is a prime example. You're going to get more mastery by reforging out of the parry, just because the parry, there's so much parry. But I personally would reforge out of the expertise, because you don't want to lose a defensive stat at the cost of keeping a threat stat. You know what I mean? Even though you're going to gain less, I still think that it's better to reforge out of the offensive stat, because it is offering you zero, absolutely nothing in terms of survivability. You know what I mean? So like, that is a worthless stat in all, you know, in the grand scheme of things. You don't need to have expertise rating as a tank. You don't. It's not helping you live whatsoever. Okay, so by keeping that and reforging out of your parry, you know, I mean, you're going to gain a little bit more mastery, but it's at the cost of some avoidance. You know, if any of you guys have been watching the stream, I'm not like a large promoter of avoidance by any means, but I don't agree with, you know, reforging out of, let's see. You guys understand what I'm saying, hopefully. If you don't, just say something. Reforge out of expertise instead of parry on your cloak. Let's see. Dodge, expertise in a dodge. Okay, so that one's good. This here. Parry into mastery, that's good. Dodge into mastery, pretty sure that's going to be wrong. See here, you're reforging out of the dodge into mastery, okay? Your parry is so much higher than your dodge, and in a raid, your parry is going to be increased by things like, you know, Blessing of Kings, Mark of the Wild, and Battle Shout, Horn of Winter, okay? So for your chest, and you want to keep these even for DR. You don't want, like, one getting super far away from the other one. You want to keep them as close to as possible, okay? That gives you the maximum value from each of them. So we're going to head and reforge out of parry instead of dodge on your chest. Okay, and see what else we got going on here. Gloves, dodge mastery, that's good. Dodge parry mastery, parry and a dodge, that's good. Parry and a dodge, that's good. Parry mastery, that's good. Haste mastery. Okay, here's another one. Okay, I understand you're using this ring probably because you don't have a better alternative. I mean, A, try to work on getting the VP ring. B, if you're keeping the haste expertise ring for tanking, reforge out of the expertise instead of the haste. Haste still offers a better survivability gain than expertise as a blood decay because it affects your rune regen. Okay. So yeah. Let's see. And you would, not to mention, you would get more mastery by reforging out of the expertise as well. So yeah, keep that in mind. There's more expertise on that ring than haste. Okay, so other than that, that's pretty good. So I'm going to have to start going through reforges because that's something I wasn't doing earlier. Let's go ahead and check out his professions: engineering, jewel crafting. I mean, if we're going speaking from a complete min-max perspective, drop JC for blacksmithing or leatherworking. And the reason for that is, you know, JC offers less of a stat gain than other professions at the moment due to epic gem inflation. Okay, now that's from a hardcore perspective only, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to lose sleep at night over, if you're not going to lose sleep at night over 20 stats or whatever, you know, go for it. You know, you don't have to, you know, redo that or anything. But I'm just saying from a complete min-max perspective. Let's see. Alright, I'll get to you guys' questions as soon as we're done with this guy's audit here. We're going to check out his spec. Spec, good. I mean, this is pretty solid spec. The right glyphs. The only thing I would maybe suggest would be switch out for Glyph of Death Coil for a prime glyph. I would actually, I'm curious if anybody would be able to provide the math, which one of these would be better suited. Because, I mean, you got to look at, like, let's go to last night, right? Let's go to last week. Let's just check this out. The Dragon Soul Heroic. Okay. So I'm just going to look at my average hard strike damage from last week. I want to see which one of those I should tell him to drop. Full report, bosses. Then we're going to go to my DK. We're going to look at damage done, right? So you're looking, I mean, Death Strike Glyph, you definitely want to be keeping that one, that's for sure. I already knew that. My main question is, I don't know what to tell you on, like, you know, which Rune Strike or Heart Strike, which is more of a loss. I would switch out one of those with the Death Coil Glyph, just because when you do use Lichborn, it's a really substantial gain. So, probably some reason I'm leaning towards maybe the Rune Strike, but I could be wrong. You know, I think it, you know, it could be possible that it's Heart Strike, but, you know, definitely switch out one of those. Swap out either Heart Strike or Rune Strike Glyph for Death Coil on, alright, yeah. So that's it. Spec is good. His spec's fine. Okay, so all in all, I mean, had quite a few points for this guy to improve his character with. Hopefully it helps him out and looks at, you know, and he's able to, you know, make some improvements on that. You know, the main thing is you're reforging. Make sure you've got those enchants, and then switch out that one gem. Okay, so yeah. And again, none of this is to be an asshole or anything. This is all just constructive criticism. Hopefully, like I said, you're able to learn and take it from that. If you guys want to follow along with the spreadsheet, I'll go ahead and toss it in chat. It's also linked at the bottom of the stream, and you guys can follow along with me as we're doing these audits. Okay. So we got that guy out of the way, and now we'll go to this one next. But before we start, I'm going to be going through some of these questions here. This guy says, "Hey Rig, our prop paladin is getting hit really hard." Give me 1 second. Sorry. Alright, yeah, my dog is like insane whenever the cat starts running around. He like goes, I don't want to have him barking while we're trying to talk. It just gets annoying. So just shut the door. Hopefully he's not that loud, so apologize. But anyways, getting back to this guy's question. He says, Prop Paladin is getting hit really hard on 10-man heroic Yorsage during any combo with purple. We're having trouble keeping him up without hitting 5 stacks. Any tips? I have the logs and armory for all the attempts. Yes. Tell you what. Do me a favor, just toss them in chat and we'll go from there, man. Just toss them in chat and we will go from there. Mainly his logs. I'll take a look at his armory as well. Let's see. Let's see. Wait, is this... Okay, so here is his armory. I need the log. Okay, boom. Alright, so we're going to check this out, and then we're going to get on with that other guy's audit. So this will actually be pretty interesting. I like stuff like this. Specific fight problems, and we'll go from there. Alright, see what's going on. Alright, so we got... Yeah, if you guys haven't added me on Facebook, go for it, man. I would appreciate it. Social media, okay. Anyways, let's see. Attempts 2 and 21. Alright, so let's go ahead. First off, alright, so this guy, just to give anybody an overview that may have just joined or wasn't really paying attention to what we're doing. This guy's having problems. This guy says his guild is having problems with 10-man heroic Yorsage when the purple buff is active. Okay, so we're just going to go through this guy's stuff. It's not going to be an armory audit. This is just me looking it over, telling you if he needs to change anything super quick, and then we're going to get into the logs. So that's going to be the majority of what we need to find out is going to be through there. Alright, the biggest thing, and actually I'll do you one better. Since you are... this is what we're going to do. I did 10-man heroic Yorsage on this past week on my Paladin. So with that said, we are going to compare these. And here's the real kicker for you. When we did Yorsage this week, someone accidentally turned off the buff, okay? So we actually did the fight on our 5th alts without the Dragon Soul buff active. So this is a pretty brutal, like, I tell you, if I can tank it on my 5th alt with the Dragon Soul buff inactive, basically the boss is full strength. You know, there's no 10% nerf active on it. You know, we can look at my cooldowns and get a really good idea of what he should be doing with a 10% nerf, because that's a pretty big difference. Okay, so again, let's just split this. This is our log. I'm going to look at damage and healing done, and we'll get back to this dual wield shit later. Okay, so here is, move this over here, keep stuff organized. Alright, so let's look. This guy says 2 and 21, so we got 752 and 757. Let's start with the first one here. We're going to go to this, and we're going to look at your guys' healing done and damage done, and then we're going to compare them to the two, okay? Before that, let's get back to this guy's armory, and just be going over some stuff here. As far as gymming goes, it looks like he's doing what he should be doing. After he's, assuming he's CTC capped, he's stacking stamina, which is good. I don't, he's 1% shield block value. One thing that he could do on this fight that's not that big of a deal, if you guys are really pressing this fight for progression, get him to change this meta gem for the reduced spell damage. Won't be a huge difference. Physical damage intake on that fight is marginal, and that would cut down a little bit. It's not going to be a game breaker. That's just something to help out. Looking at, yeah, I don't know if there's like a tool or something that we could just plug this guy's stuff in to be CTC capped. But, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not really so much about living through, and we'll be able to tell through the log, to be honest. So, you know, I wouldn't worry about it. We'll find out if he's CTC capped when I go through the log. But the biggest thing is just having the stamina and the cooldowns to deal with the magic damage. So, just looking at his reforging, it looks, just quick glance, it looks okay. He's reforging in the right stats at least. I don't know about each piece-by-piece breakdown. Enchanting, jewel crafting. So he's getting stats from both of those, so that's good. So let's go ahead and take a look at his spec. He has Guarded by the Light, that's good. He has Word of Glory glyph, that's good. He's glyph dim pride. So I mean, he's got everything set up correctly. So at this point, we're just going to go to the log and take a look. All right. So looking at your guys' healers, you have a priest, there's a disc priest, and a resto shaman. So you have a spirit link and a pain sep. Okay. And one quick thing before we even get started here is before I look at his cooldowns, you want to make sure that your tank is okay. What this tank needs to understand is he has a major cooldown for every single slime wave. Slimes are 1 minute apart, right? Okay, so if you know slimes are 1 minute apart, you're going to need to be you're going to need to have a cooldown map lined up. So, you know, and that doesn't even matter if it's purple or not. You should just do it every time because you can. You know, the first time around, you drop, or he pops his Guardian of the Ancient Kings. The next set of slimes, he gets a PS when he's got a lot of stacks. The next set of slimes, he gets a Spirit Link when he has a high set of stacks. And during each one of those, he can pop Div Prot. He can even combine any one of those. I would probably say with the Spirit Link, you have your AD ready just in case. All right, like the whole deal is you have cooldowns planned out for each set of slimes when they come active. Not only does he also have the TB trinket, okay, you guys saw it here. You know, he's got the Tolbarad trinket. This is a game breaker for that fight. It is huge, okay? He can use that once a minute also. So that's up for every single slime wave. So at this point, you know, we see that the healing comp is strong. We see that his armory and like itemization is good. Somebody was mentioning that he's not CTC capped, but again, on this fight, it's honestly not that big of a deal because your physical damage intake is marginal, okay? So right now, we're going to look at him in specific and look at his cooldowns, right? So we're going to buffs cast, and we're going to look at, let's just look for curiosity. Okay, so he wings on the pull, and he wings his back. You need to tell him he needs to be popping wings every other wave, first off. That's going to not only help with your guys' DPS, but, I mean, wings is 2 minute cooldown, he can use it every other wave. The main reason is it amplifies his Word of Glory on himself. Okay, so it's a little bit extra that he can do. So say when he gets super high stacks, he can pop wings and get a huge shield, or, you know, a huge heal on himself through his own Word of Glory once a wave, you know what I mean? Or once every other wave. Let's just go through some of this other stuff. Let's just look at, I mean, like I said, physical damage is marginal. Let's just make sure he's using things. Looks like he's doing a pretty good job with Holy Shield here, so that's good. Looking at Div Prot, it looks pretty solid. He's using it. It looks like once a wave. I'm actually curious how many waves you guys were going through. So we're going to go to the boss and look at. Just go through here. Just make sure we're not missing anything. Is maybe, oh my god, what are you doing? This is just why it's important to be good at World of Logs. Alright, so we got, whatever, we got all these. So, let's look at this, how many slime waves they went through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they went through 5 slime waves, okay? So you gotta, that's when you go back and you bounce it off this. He's div prodded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He got 6 div prots off, in 5 slime waves. Now here's something right up front that I can tell you, okay? You don't want to be div prodding until towards the end of the slime phase, each slime phase. So if we can just, let's pop this out. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, here. Let's just, let me see if I can get this the way I want it. Let's just compare these, right? I mean, you're not going to be able to get a direct comparison, but I just want to have it right underneath so you can kind of get a visual of when he's popping his cooldowns. Let's actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and let's get the rest of his CDs up. Guarded by the light, this is what I was talking about with that. It looks like he's using it once a slime wave, not that really bad. Image of Immortality. So I should get pretty good usage on that too. 5. Trying to think. Ardent Defender, that would be the only, okay, yeah. 2 of those. Okay, and then here's another big one. You got to see when he is getting pain suppression. So that's another big one. And we can actually even see when he's got a barrier. Another quick thing, just making sure that Ancestral Vigor. Okay, this is probably pretty bad. If anything, I would say you need to just kind of bouncing around. Try to have your Shaman pay a little bit more attention to the tank. And try and keep that HP buff up on him. That's going to be pretty huge. I understand it may be a little bit rough during the black phases or purple phases, but if at all possible, actually let's see, both times it fell. If these were during purple, that actually would not be that bad of a thing. Which one is shadowed? Okay, here's shadowed here. So you had 3 shadowed, and then, okay, so that's exactly what happened. So you don't want to jump on your Shaman's nuts too hard, right? It only fell during the purple phase. But, you know, yeah, that's not that big of a deal, actually. So he's doing a good job keeping it up outside of that, so that's good. The biggest thing I want to know is, I mean, it's really annoying with World of Logs is for a prop paladin, you can't see when they use Guardian of Ancient Kings. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the quick log browser. Alright, we're going to remove, then we're going to add query, actor's name, Fry LOL, right? Yeah. Spell Guardian of, is it the Ancient Kings or Ancient Kings? I think it's the. We'll try that and see what happens. It's aura, whatever. It's not showing up, we'll blah. Let's try it again. Guardian of Ancient Kings. It's just whatever, power gain. Just make sure I don't miss any of this stuff, but whatever. See if that pops it in. That's just a pain in the ass. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's I can't really get anything consistently to show when he popped Guardian. So we're gonna just assume he's popping Guardian at the right time, but we're gonna be able to figure out when. Okay, so let's just take it each slime phase by each slime phase, right? The first one here, okay, he has. Try to get these in line. Okay, the first one. It looks like he is. So you know what, dude? We're gonna go. Here we got black, cobalt, shadowed, glowing, acidic, and crimson. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we got all of those. What we're going to do at this point, because I want to make sure I'm not print screen. I'm super anal about this stuff, guys. So here's one thing that you guys get to see me do in my natural habitat. I do this shit all the time, okay, with my own parses. And I take screenshots of it and go over them on my own with MS Paint and do things like this. So what we're going to do here, we're going to make this exactly right on top of each other so we can get exact time frames for for this guy and how it's going, right? So I'm just going to put these here and line it up. It's about as close as we're going to get, it looks like, to the point where we'll be good to go. Alright, so now just going to trim this, put it in a new document, and then we're going to look at that. Alright, so here we go. Ready to rock, right? This is what we're going off of. So let's look at the cooldown usage for the Pally. This one I was saying it's called the Ancient Guardian. So let me just make sure I'm not overlooking this. If we can have it in here, we should. Ancient Guardian. What I mean, I'm trying to figure out what do you mean? It's called Ancient Guardian. Whatever. Anyways, we're just going to get back to what I got going on here, right? Okay, so first slime phase, he's using Holy Shield or whatever. He's div prodding too early, right there. I can tell you that off the bat. He didn't even use a single Guarded by the Light buff in here. May have been a little hard. The biggest thing is when the shadow's up. So these are the ones that we need to be looking at the most, right? The shadowed ones. This one. This one, and this one. These are where they're having the most troubles. So this is what we're going to be looking right underneath at his cooldown usage during this stuff, okay? Okay, just right now, if I knew that you were going to be getting okay, let's just play Monday morning quarterback hindsight, right? You're getting every other one of these is basically purple, okay? So there's 2-minute gap in between them. So that means if he used his Guardian on the first one, he has his Guardian up on the third one. And then he has a PS for this one, okay? But let's say worst case scenario, you get them back to back. You know, you would have Guardian, then you would have PS, and say you get a third one again, that one would be the one that you Spirit Link and use your Ardent Defender on. The biggest thing for this guy, if he's having problems dying, he needs to understand how and when to use the cooldowns. If he is having to pop his div prot, like right here, you see this div prot that he's popping, like in the middle, or not even the middle, before the middle of the purple phase, that's no go, man. If he's having to do that, he's done, because that's a 40% magic reduction. He should not be having to pop that soon. Okay, he's not going to have super. And the main reason purple is bad for tanks is not because you can't heal. The reason that it's bad is because the dot starts ticking harder and harder, and then they're going to need to be getting healed more later and later. Okay, so the amount of healing, what I'm getting at is the amount of healing that you need at the beginning to midway in a purple phase is marginal. It's not a lot. You have 1 to 2, maybe 3 stacks of the debuff. Then you're going to be getting up in the neighborhood of, let's look at the debuffs here. Let's look at his Void Bolt stacks. We could have just did this, actually. I'm retarded. I went and did this the absolute hard way and did it like this. We could have just looked at his Void Bolt stacks. Okay, you see here, he only gets to 3. That's off the bat. Okay, you get 3 off the bat every time. No big deal. Let's see if he didn't use a cooldown, so that's good. Next set that comes out, he gets all the way up to 6. He popped his div prot when he is at like 3 or 4, which I guess what he's doing isn't really bad. He's going from div prot to Image of Immortality into Ardent Defender. That's not bad, and you can see here it looks like he lived, but I would personally recommend pushing it back. Like, he shouldn't really need to be popping a cooldown with 2 stacks of the debuff. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, just push it back a little bit to where you get even. There's like a little bit of a gap here, to be honest, like between those. I don't know. I'll go through and pick out one of his death logs. But what I'm getting at is you need to make sure that you and also, if anything, he should pop the Ardent Defender instead of the div prot, because the Ardent Defender is only going to reduce your shit by 20%, and this div prot is going to reduce it by 40%. So you're getting double the reduction off of that div prot than you are that AD. So if anything, tell him his rotation, he needs to switch to AD with the div prot, okay? The div prot's going to be up every single time. And popping that div prot when you're at 6 stacks, is going to be a lot better than popping an Ardent Defender when you're at 6 stacks. Okay. And for you guys that are in chat, they're like, "Oh, just have a DK do it." You know, that's not really a good answer because any tank is capable of doing it. And if the guy's needing assistance on how to do it on a Paladin, that's what we're giving him, is assistance on how to do it as a Paladin. So, you know, hop off the Pally can't do it bandwagon, because it definitely can. Alright, so let's see. Let's also take a look at some of the other stuff. Let's take a look at the second time around. Void Bolt on, let's go to underneath the 49 one. So this one here is purple again. So it looks like he used Div Prod early into his trinket again, and nothing right here. I would assume, since I can't see when he used Guardian, that he used his Guardian here. If he's using Guardian here, that's good. Okay. What I would have done, I would have popped Guardian here instead of AD, and then it would have been GG. Absolutely no way that you're dying. You want to get it on cooldown. That way you'll have it come up again quicker. You know what I mean? And you always want to have yeah, I mean, I would have, like, looking at this, if he would have popped Guardian here, he would have had Guardian instead of this AD. Then for this one, he could have gotten the Pain Sup. This priest only used Pain Sup one time. Your Pain Sup by that priest was only used on the tank one time. You should not be using Pain Sup on anybody but the tank. That Pain Sup right there, that's no good, man. He could have had a Pain Sup, you know, in here as well. There could have been a Pain Sup right there, and it would have been back up. So if he would have used it there, there's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. All right, so that was 4 minutes later. I mean, you guys almost had an 8-minute pull and used a 3-minute cooldown one time. That's no good. All right. Looking at, let's go ahead and look at the third time around. Underneath the 52. Okay, so right here, this set right here, he uses Div Prot into his trinket. So it looks like he's pretty consistent with that, which is good. Okay, and then into PS. So that's good. Okay, and if he would have popped, the thing is, if he would have popped his shield wall here, he could have had the PS on the second one and then shield wall back up for the third one. So, I mean, does any of that make sense? Hopefully that is, you know, tell him hold the Div Prot till later, use the AD earlier, and use his Guardian at the beginning so he can use it again, and you minimize the number of external cooldowns that he needs. But he needs to have either Guardian, I mean, for every single slime face, he can have a cooldown, a major cooldown. He can have Guardian, then Pain Sup. It doesn't matter if it's a purple one or not. It's every single time that dot starts ticking hard, he has a major cooldown active. So he's got Guardian into Pain Sup, and then the third one he can have Spirit Link on top of AD. Okay? So, you know, hopefully that makes sense. I know it's probably a lot. I kind of went on a tangent there, but, you know, that is how it goes. Let me know if you still have questions, and then we'll keep addressing those. All right. So hopefully that fixed that guy and how he had some problems with his cooldowns on Spine. Let me see what other cooldown or questions I've missed from you guys. This guy here is saying never use an external unless it's a high damage combo. That's false. You should use them because that's what they're there for. And as long as you have a major cooldown up, I mean, like I just said, every single slime wave, you have a major cooldown active. You know what I mean? So you need to use them. It just makes life easier. Just because you could live without it doesn't mean that's what you need to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be making healers waste extra mana to heal you when they don't have to be. I mean, stuff like that is really, you know, healer's mana is a factor. Some fights more so than others. So, I mean, like I said, have him get in the habit of using, you know, Guardian on the first set of slimes. Or even just say Guardian, yeah, Guardian on the first set, Pain Sup on the second set, and AD, Spirit Link. Worst case, drop a barrier that covers him and the raid. I mean, on that one, because that one's going to be hairy, because the Spirit Link's only 10% reduction on top of your AD, which is 20, so you're looking at 30, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Let's Yeah, this one guy pointed out that he's not using his TV trinket every single phase. I'm pretty sure that he is, actually. Actually, no, he didn't. This one, he missed it. He missed the TV trinket on this one, and he got it on the rest. But yeah, this one right here, he didn't TV trinket. But that one wasn't a purple one. That one was red, yellow, black. So it's not that rough, but I mean, either way, you should use it. It's up for every single one. That's what I'm saying. You can get by without using it. That's a perfect example. But why not? You know, you should be using it. Trying to catch up on questions here, just make sure I'm not missing anything. So it says he has a question about bear tanks. Go ahead and throw it in here. We'll get to that. Oh, I didn't update the stream title. I'll go ahead and do that for you guys real quick. Wednesday. Tank Q&A. There we go. Updated. Thanks for catching that. So I got to say here, hey, I just switched from 25 to 10 man. Would you help me make sure I am geared properly and be tanking hard mode madness in the next week? Sure. Go to my Twitter, post your stuff on my Twitter, and then we may be able to get to it. I got to catch up with the rest of this stuff. So I was asking to audit 107 on the spreadsheet. We'll get that open. If we get time to do it, we will. Okay, so we hopefully answered that question about that guy's Paladin. So if I didn't, say something, and then we will keep helping you out with that. All right. So hopefully that was at least something that he could see, so he can improve it. All right. I'm going to actually just take a look at mine to be completely honest with you. I want to see how I line my cooldowns up this past week on my Paladin. Remember, like I said, they actually only turned the buff off, so it was a pretty huge deal as far as a pain in the ass for the most part. So you see I got div prot used every time. Actually, let me get this other shit out of the way. Said holy shield's irrelevant. Let me get my cooldowns lined up here, and then we will look at our defender. Then let me see, pain sub, 2 of those, and hand of sack, 5 of those, and trying to think. Actually, I only used 1 rallying cry. We could use a lot more of those. So, and then just to... Here are the purple phases. You can see here, this is like turbo shit mode. We had back-to-back purple. Just looking at what I did, more or less. Hand of sack was used really early there. But then we went into div prot, into pain sup, into TB trinket. I'm pretty sure the way I was doing it is I was using the TB trinket at near the end of most of mine, as you can see here. It's all, I mean, there's all but 2 of them it's used like on the last couple of stacks. So, in my opinion, that's kind of the way you want to deal with it. I div prodded and then went into the TV trinket. If I could see where I popped Guardian, I'm pretty sure I popped Guardian right here. And it was also up for this one. And also this one probably. So yeah, it was almost a 10-minute fight. But you can see here, like, every single wave, you have div prod into TB trinket on every wave. Alright. Let's see here. Okay, so that guy said that he's good. Let's see. Robertain, do you gym Agi or Stam or go for, or which? It's like if you find yourself off tanking a lot, you want to go Agi Stam, or I'm sorry, Agi, and if you find yourself tanking pretty much all the time, I would focus a lot more on stamina. Let's see. Oh, you're actually, holy shit, we already went through a lot of time. Let me plow through 2 of these armories. We got this guy and we got this guy. Alright, so we're going to do these 2 quick audits. And then, so we got Birdie, Just going to do his. My dog is barking, I apologize. I'm not sure what he's barking at. I don't want to go check. We got this Birdie Do guy. He's a Paladin. Let's look at his gems. Actually, fuck. Hang on. One thing I forgot about this Paladin. I want to see if he's CTC capped. While it doesn't matter, you are making it a lot harder on yourself. Yeah, he took 4 melees. He shouldn't be taking any melees. Now, to be honest, these may be... As you see here, I'm hovering over it. You have dodged, blocked, parried, missed, absorbed. I think, no. Those, he's CTC capped because those hits that it's counting as hits are the ones that are full absorbed, because you see it's the exact same. It's the it counts a full absorbed attack from a shield or whatever. It counts that as a hit. That's just how World of Laws reports. I'm fairly certain on that, so I'm pretty sure he's CTC capped. I was just wanting to cover that and make sure that he was. So, yeah. Moving on. Check this guy out here. We're assuming he's CTC capped. He's still got a ton of mastery gems and shit. I wish there was a way I could just link an armory and it audit that for me. Assuming you are CTC capped, focus on Stam. Jimming. Okay, just pointing that out there for that guy. Looking at his enchants, it's good. 65 mastery to gloves. 65 mastery to gloves. Good. Dracehide, good. Mastery, good. A lot of fights this Resolve of Undying is not really that good on. I'm just going to additional comments here. Drop the Resolve of the Undying for a Stam trinket. Most fights that will come in much better on the results. Okay, and the reason is just avoidance is not ever better almost most of the time. Like, you know, I would just rather... Holy shit, man. You're only reforging into mastery? Hang on. Okay, you got expertise into mastery. That's good. You got... It says right here, parry into mastery. Look at this, man. You've got 22.5% parry and 13% dodge. I mean, like, you really need to keep your dodge and parry equal, okay? I mean, I realize that you're wearing a trinket that's going to stack your dodge rating, but it's not going to stack your dodge rating like 9%, because that would have to give you 9% dodge for it to, you know, equal your parry out, and it's not going to do that. You want to keep these equal. So, like, you need to be reforging out of, like right here, this is parry mastery. You need to be reforging out of that parry into dodge, okay? Reforge out of parry into dodge. Alright, so that's one big thing with that. Just flip through here. You get the mastery, expertise into mastery. That's good. These here, expertise into mastery. That's good. Parry into mastery again. Chest. It needs to go. You need to reforge that parry into dodge. Parry mastery. Same thing here. Parry into dodge. Parry into dodge. Parry into dodge. Like every single item that you have parry on, you're not reforging it. Dodge and parry. Parry into mastery. You know. Parry into mastery on that. Parry into mastery on that. You know, most of your items aren't even reforged. Parry into mastery. So yeah, make sure that you're reforging your items. Parry into mastery. You know, and hit into mastery. So that's good. Okay. Yeah, and the thing is, you want to keep them even, but you also have to remember that whenever you are in the raid, or whenever you're in a raid getting raid buffs, when you get King's Mark of the Wild, and Horn of Winter, and all that stuff, your parry's going to go up, you know, quite a bit, depending on your parry level. You know, so keep that in mind as well. You're looking at a % or so gain. So let's look at professions. Mining, drop mining for leatherworking, engineering. Actually, wait, was he an engineer? No. Okay, yeah. So do that. Engineering or even blacksmithing. Drop mining. See, that's just a recommendation. It's not really going to make that big of a difference. Your reforging will make a huge difference. Looking at your spec, you don't have pursuit of justice, which means you need to have a, you just need to pick up pursuit of justice. So as a paladin, that's one of their strengths. Drop the points in hallowed ground and put them into POJ. Outside of that, it looks pretty good. Glyphs, actually switch hammer with Shield of Righteous. Drop hammer glyph for shield slam glyph. Also carry around dust to swap out div prot glyph when needed. Okay, here's a big thing though, man. If you're only tanking 5-mans and stuff, your spec's actually not that bad, because consecration and fire, you know what I mean? Like if you're just doing stuff that involves lots of adds all the time, that's a good thing to have. And if that's the case, I would drop actually guarded by the light or something and put that in. I mean, you won't pursue justice either way it goes, man. But yeah, if you're AoE tanking, the hammer glyph is better, or the hammer of righteous glyph. But I mean, for most boss situations, you're going to want the shield slam glyph, because you're crusader striking, you're not hammering. All right. Also, I would drop the dazing shield glyph for either LOH or there's a couple of options. Focus shield. Drop dazing shield glyph for either LOH or focus shield. Okay. Now we are going to no, I'm going to get to all these guys. I just, we only have so much time in the show, so I'm sorry if I don't get to everybody's stuff. I'm doing what I can, alright, so don't get mad at me. We're going to go to this guy super quick, and then we're going to wrap up any other questions that we got going on here. This guy's a DK. You can just give me a number, and I'll make sure to try to get, this is a warrior. I'll try to get to it next, or whenever I do audits again, whenever that is, alright. Mastery, full mastery, mastery stamina. Okay, so I like this guy's gymming, to be honest with you. I like it a lot because it focuses on this warrior strengths. This is good. Focusing on mastery. The thing is, for your Saj and Madness, you're going to need stam gems, but outside of that, your gymming scheme is solid. Okay, that's the thing about a warrior. Is on Madness and your side. Fights with heavy magic damage. It gets rough. Just looking at enchants. Good, good, good. 75 stam to chest. Outside of that, it looks pretty good. 75 stam to chest. And looking at his reforging, dodge mastery. Yeah, that's the two good stats. Drop mining. Let's see. Drop mining for engineering, blacksmithing, or leatherworking. What was his other one? Oh, he has blacksmithing, so take that out. Alright. Now we're going to check out his spec. Also, let me annotate this. Also swap your meta gem out for both of those fights as well. Armor meta for Madness and Magic Reduc for your Saj. Alright, now I understand that may be a little bit expensive to carry around a stack of meta gems, but it is what it is, alright? Reforging was good. Spec. Deep wounds, that's good. No safeguard, that would be the only thing I would recommend changing. Pick up safeguard to help out other tanks during raids. Small threat damage loss for a major CD on a 30-second CD. You know, it's definitely worth it. Alright, so glyphs, check them out. Revenge, Devastate, Shield Slams, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so it's good. Actually, I did not go through. I like being thorough here, so I'm gonna just quick once over on his reforging. Make sure he's good. Parrying a dodge. Actually, his parry's ahead of his dodge, so that's good. As a warrior, dodge and a mastery. Expertise in a dodge. That's good. Expertise in a dodge. This is parry is in a dodge. That's good. That's good. So yeah, it looks like he knows what he's doing. I'm going to go through everyone. Alright, so that's awesome. Alright, so we knocked that armory audit out too. That's good to go. I'm going to go through here and check some other questions if you guys have any. This is what is CTC. Actually, somebody explained it. It's combat table coverage. Yeah, it's 102.4, like GV pointed out. And yeah, it's 5%, not 4% on miss, as Center pointed out. And yeah, if you guys want me to do your audits, you have to do me a favor and put them on my Twitter. All right, so that's how I get them. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna just put a tweet out that updated Armory audit spreadsheet. All right, so we toss that in there, and we're good to go on that. All right, so if you guys haven't followed me on Twitter, go ahead and do so, please. I'd appreciate it. But we're going to wrap up the audits with that. I don't see any other questions that you guys have. I tried to get to all those. So took a little bit of time going through that Pally stuff, but stuff like that is really good because it's direct interaction, offering advice, critique, and things like that. So that's good. If you guys have those, make sure you're bringing them to the shows and things of that nature. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the tank Q&A, and we'll have more going on the tank Q&A portion next week. Tomorrow is Tank Talk. We have one of the guys from Reddit, the Reddit contest. I think it's supposed to be Bebo. Waiting on him to get back to me, and then we'll go from there. So make sure you guys are around for that. Tonight, after the show in less than an hour, we've got a raid coming up. Full 8 out of 8 Heroic Dragon Soul clear. I'll be playing on my DK, so if you guys make sure to stick around and watch that. If you guys get around 400 viewers for the raid, I'm going to be giving away some BL t-shirts. I've actually got a whole pile of them, alright? So if you guys want to win a BL t-shirt, we'll be giving those away to a random follower tonight. I'm going to go ahead and update the title, giving away BL t-shirts at 400 consistent at 400 viewers. Can't fit all that in. Okay, so make sure you're around for that if you want to win. And yeah, we'll be having those on the website. The website should be out before too long. Just making sure everything's good to go. We don't want to obviously be releasing it, you know, whenever it's not ready. All right. So if you guys have a question that I wasn't able to answer during the, you know, been going a little bit over an hour now, put it on my Twitter and I'll try to get to it. If not, just hop in the stream at some point. And, you know, I promise I'm not trying to ignore people. Just got a lot of different stuff going on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you stick around for the raid tonight. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the follow button. And yeah, I'm just going to chill out for a bit and run a couple of commercials since I haven't given you guys any so far. And then we're going to get the raid going. All right. So good stuff. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it.